Hey, welcome back. All right, so in this tutorial, we are going to make it so that our platform is interactive. Right now, when we roll into a volume, our platforms will start to move, or we can use the original one, which is as soon as we start the game, everything starts to move. So we're going to make it so that the player can roll up to the platform, get on the platform, and then hit the interact key, which for me is the E button, and the platform will then move, and it'll go all the way up or move forward wherever it's going to go. And then when it gets there, it'll stop for however long we have the delay, and then it'll return back to the starting point. And then the other thing the player could do is they can also hit the E key at the other end and have it return back to the starting point. And they can do this as many times as they need to. But let's go ahead and get this started. All right, so in our content drawer, let's go ahead and go to our blueprints. Let's take a look at the player blueprint real quick, okay? The player blueprint, we already have our interaction set up on it. Now, if you have not done this tutorial with me and you haven't got an interaction system set up on your player already, I do have the tutorial for it. You can jump all the way back to video number 20 in this tutorial series. And here's where we're going to add in the interact ability for the blueprint. Now, one thing, if you take a look here, this has the line traced by channel set up on that one. The one that we're going to use here for the player now is I've changed it to the sphere trace by channel. And you can see that by doing that, we can hard code the radius into here, and then I have the start and end. So you can set yours up by using this instead of this right here. And because we didn't need to do a line trace, we're not doing a draw or anything like that, we left that piece out. You just need to start in the end point. All right, so that's enough about that. Let's go ahead and get started on updating our blueprint. So now we're going to go into our blueprints folder. We're going to go into our interactables, and we're going to go ahead and click on the automatic one that we created. And I'm going to do a Control D and duplicate it. And we're going to rename this. I'm going to call this Interact Platform. And I'm going to take the one off the end because it doesn't need to be the one. It's the only one we have. I'm going to double click and open that up. And I'm going to save it. All right. Now, let's go ahead and get things kind of prepped up for it. Let's talk a little bit about what we do have and what we don't need. Now, for the player, we're going to use this interaction right here. So this interact that we already have set up, the BPI interaction, is what we're going to use to power or to command the move platform right here. So we don't need this event start platform here because we're going to do this manually with the player. We also don't need this piece of the check here. And I'm going to plug this in. We are going to come back and revisit it. I'm going to grab this and drag it down because we're going to put something in here later. All right. So now in order to get the interface that we need, though, we need to set it up so that this has the correct interface. And if I click over here, I still have that interface. So let's go to class settings right up here. And then we can either leave it or we can delete it. I'm just going to leave it, save myself some time. I'm going to hit the down button and I'm going to type in BPI underscore, and I want the interaction. Okay, so now I have interaction. I'm going to double click on it from over here, and it always drops it way down there. And I'm just going to plug it in. Okay, I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to comment this, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to call this move platform command. So we're going to start commenting some of our things here. All right, now the other thing we're going to need to do is, well, let's go ahead and test it, and we'll talk about some of the things we need to do. Since we got this started, it'll call this, and everything will happen. So let's go into our sandbox, go into the content drawer, and we're going to drag this out. Let's do a file save all so we don't lose anything. Okay, with it selected, I'm going to select the spline over here. I'm going to select all the splines by pushing this button. And then I'm going to push this button and select the very first spline here. So remember, the origin point is this first spline, and then there's the second spline because this has two splines right now. So with this first one selected, I want to rotate it up in the 90 degrees because I'm going to make this go up and down. This is going to be an up and down platform. So I'm going to type in 90. We're going to get that weird little S curve. I'm going to select, or you can move it here, the second spline point. I'm going to change this to 100 for the Z to lift it up in the air, and then to put it back over the top of the origin point, I'm going to change the X to 0 from 100. And now it should be all set up except for one thing. Remember, when we do it this way, it rotates the Z for some reason 180 degrees. I want it to be the same direction, so now it should be 0. So both of these starting point and this one should be 0. And I am going to bump this up so that it is about 1,000 in the air. I'm going to select the platform again. And up here at the very top, I'm going to select the interact platform. And what I want to do is I want to change my movement times and my start delays and all these things that we have here. All right, so I'm going to change my start delay to 0 because I want to be able to interact with it and have it go right away. And then for movement time, because I just changed it to 1,000, I do want it to go up kind of fast, but not so fast that it throws me off. So I'm going to just put in 10 seconds and see what that does. And we're going to have a restart delay of, I'm going to leave it for 5 seconds. Let's go ahead and hit save, hit play. I'm going to go over to the platform. I'm going to hit E on my keyboard. And I should go up 1,000 units in about 10 seconds. Now something funny is going to happen. Now it's going to start to go down. And if I hit the E key, I can make it go back up. That's not what I want it to do though, right? If I hit the E key myself, it's going to, after it times out, it's going to move me back up. So we got this weird kind of problem happening. And let's talk through the blueprint about what exactly is happening. So now that I don't have a check here to see if I'm close by for it to say yes or no, to verify that I'm on the platform, and since I can manually input movement, when this calls, remember, and it goes through this whole process, and then it finishes, it comes up here, and then it does this right here. It does this move platform. So it automatically, after the delay, calls this, no matter what. So if I have hit the E key to get it to move, then it's still doing the delay before it's gotten through the delay. It'll start to do this move platform, and it'll move me back in the opposite direction. I would have to wait till it stops and then let it move itself. We don't want it to work that way. We want it to work so that we control it more, and then this will work sometimes as we need it. So the way we're going to fix this is we're first going to check to see if the platform is moving, okay? And so that means we're going to need to create a couple of booleans, but we're going to start with one first. We're going to hit the plus button, and we're going to call this one is platform moving. Could have also just called it is moving. Now I'm going to drag this into here, and I'm going to set it. And where we're going to set it at is we're going to set it here in the two spots where we make the commands. Either it's going to be finished, and we're going to say, no, we're not moving anymore, or it is going to say, yes, we are moving, because we are moving. So I'm going to connect this one here. And then I'm going to Control D. I'm going to put a little checkbox in here because this is, yes, we are moving. So this is false. This is true. And I'm just going to drag everything everywhere. Put that there. All right. Now, the check that we're going to do is going to be right here. After we run through this, it'll start off as false. And then when we start to move, it'll change it to true. So we're going to take this and we'll say is platform, and we're going to get the is platform. And I need a Boolean, or a branch rather. So we're going to get a branch. We're going to connect up our branch here, and when it is not moving is when I want to be able to allow the player to put input, or I want the move platform command to be able to put input in. So this is going to be false. The platform cannot be moving. So here's true. If it's moving, this would be true, and then nothing would happen, right? If it's false, because we've gone through this process here, and it's changed it to false, then it can move. And if I, as a player, when we get to this part here, and this is at the very beginning, because we're putting it in front of this timing delay here. We're setting this to back to false so the player can hurry up and jump in and manually override this part for the move platform. And that way, when this actually kicks in, then what will happen is we're already moving, so nothing will happen. It'll go to true and say, oh, we can't do that. All right, so we're going to say compile, and we're going to save it. And now I'm going to hit play. And move up. And notice if I hit the E key, nothing happens. I get to the top, hit the E key right away. I moved it, and the move platform command, the auto return command, doesn't overwrite it. But what is going to happen is if I sit here long enough, it's now in a loop. We've set it up so that this will loop and nothing will break it. Because once we run through and the timing delay happens, then this is going to say, this is going to kick in and it's just going to automatically move the platform. And since the platform is not moving, it's allowed to do that. So we're going to need to fix that now too. And this is where the other Boolean comes into play. I'm going to hit the plus button and we're going to say, let's call this one is start position. Okay. Hopefully I'm thinking about this one right. So we're going to say is start position. Okay, and I'm going to drag this out. And we're going to set it. Okay. Now, let me try not to get myself in reverse here. So we're going to connect both of these in. So we're going to set this one here. I'm going to move this back a little bit, give me some room. And then I'm going to Control D and duplicate that one again. And we're going to set it here as well. And that's going to be reverse. So this is going to be true. So if it's in start position, that'll be true. If it's not in start position, that'll be false. Because it'll be playing, it'll be moving. And then once it's reversed and it's gone back, that'll be true. And then what we're going to do is we want it to go back to, hopefully I'm not thinking about this backwards. We want it to go back to the start position. So this is going to push it back to the start position, but once it's in the start position, we don't want it to move anymore. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get is start position. And we're going to get a branch. We're going to connect this up. I'll drag this up here. And in order for this to fire, it needs to not be in the start position. So this would need to be false. And I'm going to hit compile and save it. And let's test that out. If it's in the start position, we don't want it to automatically go. If it's not in the start position, we want it to automatically go. So let's go ahead and ride this up. And after the delay, it should start. And it did. Now when we get to the bottom, that should be it. We're back in the start position and it should not move. Okay, it is not. So let's see if we can manually overwrite it. Yes, I can. I can get it started. Then when we get to the top, I'm going to manually overwrite it again. Just to make sure that it doesn't come back in by itself. And it did not. And when we're back in the start position, it should not go again. Okay, because there's one thing I wanted to cover again real quick. Let's go back into our blueprint. And remember we started to comment, so let's go ahead and finish this up. So I'm going to select these right here, and we're going to hit this C to comment it. There we go. And we're going to call this one set platform speed. Okay, so that's going to be our platform speed. These are going to be set. I'm going to grab these here, and we're going to drag these up out of the way just a little bit so I have some room to work. We're going to select all the way to here. So right after the relative rotation, and we're going to comment that, and we're going to call this one move platform along spline, because this also includes the spline piece down here. This one right here, we're going to comment it, and we're going to call this one play movement sound. This one is going to be stop. Let's see, we're going to call this one play, stop, sound, and stop the movement sound. This here, grab that sequence one. This is going to be reset platform to start position. Now that we've got it set up with this start position here. We're going to compile everything and save it. This one right here, highlighted, we already did it, and it's going to be move platform command. And we're going to end up putting one more interface in here in this exact one. So we could even drag this down just a little bit, give us some room, because we're going to have another event interaction in here once we set up the call station. All right, so let's do a file save all. And with that, I'm now done with this tutorial. If you have any questions, if I lost you, please put a comment down in the comment section. Ask your question. If you have anything you want to say, put it down in the comment section. Don't forget to like this tutorial if you liked what you saw. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Help me out and help you out so that you can keep up with the other tutorials that will be coming out, because I've got plenty more video game tutorials I'll be putting together. And again, thanks for playing, and I will see you next time.